So Kai Stokes, Logan Wilson, both changing positions after the amount that you've been able to see them at corner. Are you kind of satisfied with the progress, or what do they need to do to continue to develop?
Yeah, we've got a lot of competition there overall with a lot of ages. And it's kind of been, to be honest, all the guys are making progress. The competition there's greater than it has been, which is what we needed. As you go through spring, you're naturally find out what some guys do better than others based on even what the defense might be. You know what I mean? So I feel like all of our corners got an attribute that we really like. We're just trying to find the corner that's got all the attributes that we need in one, to me, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the consistency part of it is really the part that's probably not just lacking sometimes at corner, but really in all of our positions right now is the consistency portion of things. So I think, once you get to the midway point, which we'll be there, next week, then you got to, start to probably really create an overall depth chart at that point. We haven't really done that yet. We've, got the guys really divided up. Yeah. Almost by age, to be honest with you. But those two guys are working really hard. Both really good human beings, Logan and Kai. Both have taken on, the ability to be leaders too, being older guys. Logan's in his last year of football, which is significant because when any guy gets to that point, each day is his last day to do whatever we're doing. So that's really hit with him, and he's done a great job this off season of doing the things that he needed to do with his body to physically be able to make it through a season healthy. So those are some challenges we've given him, and Kai has embraced the role and is had some good days, right, and has had to bounce back on some other days, which you want to see all the guys have to do that, right? You want to see them have to fight adversity and come back, but we're pleased with how both of those guys are working for sure. Yep.
At safety, it was kind of on the fly. Like, that room was pretty set when you got here last year.
It was, absolutely. That's a great point.
How have you been able to kind of reshape it? When you look out there, do you think, okay, this is getting closer to my vision of it?
I believe, yeah, you're that's a great point by you. I think we determined what we needed a little bit, which is, moving a couple guys actually out of that room into other spots. You know what I mean, Chad? So that's, you find that along the way. It's unique back there because you would like to have guys that can play all three of the spots that you have. We're at linebacker, we really feel like those guys, many are interchangeable there, which has been able to create competition and depth both. That's what we're trying to get, with the three safety spots. We are much closer there to me, and have still maintained the competition level, and we are interchanging some guys back there too, whether it be the field or boundary and the middle safety as well. So we're working guys in and around those three spots, but we do feel collectively better back there. One with, you do have guys coming back that were back there a year ago, which is awesome. And anytime you have returners, you're super excited there. And we've added some guys in there that are great competitors and have, experience playing back there at other places at a high level. So,
has Peak been able to step into more of a little bit more of a leadership role?
He had. We have challenged him at that. By nature, he's a quiet guy, right? And he's a leader by the way he plays. Naturally, I think we've all seen that. And our challenge is to him, because he's got some younger guys specifically at his spot that he still needs to, follow the leader, really is what we want him to do. So we have challenged him with doing that. He is working on it, and he has improved there. So, and we need him to be a great leader for us, not just based on how he works.
You had a lot to put his dad out there ever? Physically, he looks better than anybody here.
He could probably still rush the passer. Yeah, he could probably still rush the
You had a lot of defensive linemen last year that didn't make it through the season. How good can that line be if they're all, I know it's a big if, but if you get all those guys healthy, you had tons of guys that you're relying on that went down.
We do, and we're still working, a couple of those guys back, obviously. We're not throwing them in to get as many reps maybe as a guy that wasn't injured either. You know, those guys are still progressing through with the amount of reps, but they're all available right now, which is huge for us naturally, especially at that position, because we feel like some of the very best players on our team are at the defensive line spot, right? The awesome part about it is a lot of those guys would have been standing on this field a year ago, so they're back, and you know, whether they are taking all the reps or not, they're helping the younger guys. We're getting a lot of young guys reps right now, which is good for us too. So, but yeah, we feel awesome about it. I think obviously, you know, if you have a choice, you want to stay healthy, right? So that's what we're trying to do that. Absolutely, yeah.
Second week of spring ball with Coach Veidt and Coach Hicks back there. Just what's your early impressions on them and the job they're doing so far?
Yeah. You know, again, at the corner spot, we mentioned, I think, you know, Eddie's done a great job of creating a lot of competition there, making guys go for consecutive plays to see who can battle versus the run versus the pass and all the things we're asking those guys to do in the back end. So the competition there is at an all-time high for sure. You know, Adam's done a great job because, you know, we started with a group of guys there. We're interchanging some guys to come in there that maybe were in my meeting room, go with him for a couple days, come back with me. So he's done a great job of preparing, you know, different guys along the way for many situations. So I feel like we've got a great start. We've got a long way to go, but I feel like we got a great start.
Sorsby got some receivers here. Did he help get some defensive players?
Well, the better our receivers, hopefully the better we'll be on the defensive end. If you got to work harder to cover guys in practice, hopefully that helps you in the games, you know. When you don't have to work very hard to cover guys in practice, then you might think you're a pretty good cover guy and you actually aren't, you know. So we're able to find out if guys can actually cover or not right now. So that's very helpful.
What's your DC scouting report on Jeff Caldwell?
Number one, he's fast. Number two, he's big. And number three, he can catch the football. So all three of those are good for the Bearcats, right? So for sure.
What part of Jalen White McClain's game makes him a potentially really dangerous player for you on the defensive end?
Yeah, well, you know, he played a lot prior, really as, you know, an interior inside type of technique.
Yeah.
And I think the uniqueness with him is he's got the ability to do that. He's got the ability to play on the edge. So his versatility,
Yeah.
I would say, makes him unique for us. You know, the one thing that a lot of guys are in this spot when they arrive, whether it's an early high school guy or a guy like Jalen, you know, they're learning as they go too. So you're trying to make sure when they're in the competition parts of it that hopefully you can call some things that they've done before that are relative, so you can get a good gauge on, you know, how they are physically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
Awesome. Yep.